Okay, so this is the new trial out with the microphone. If you listen back to yesterday's, it sounded very muffly sometimes when I was working out and I was like putting my chin on it like that. So hopefully it sounds a little bit better today. And this might be the new setup. I might just need to wear a cap every single time I do this video. Who cares? You know, it's a new look. We're off to the gym to do legs. Day 2 of a better me. Let's get at it.
Get the hamstrings firing before I then go into leg press, which is going to be my main compound movement for the lower body section. Here it goes. What I used to do was 63 for 10 and then move down for the second 2 sets. I put it back at 63 again just to see if I got it. My hamstring strength doesn't really I think my hamstring strength basically is quite weak, I would say. It's always been a weak part of mine. So in terms of like whenever I take some time off and when I come back, essentially it's relatively the same. It's not too far indifferent. So I'm going for 63 again just to see if I'm correct, but I anticipate that I should be able to do 10 reps at this tempo and then see how we get on. Here goes. Oh. One more. I'm not sure if I did 10 or 11 there, but whenever you're not sure about how many reps you're doing because you're counting and the set is quite hard, just do one more. It's better to do one more than to kind of underestimate how many you actually did and then leave yourself a little bit short. So that's a quick tip there. It's just to make sure that you always do one more rep because you probably have that extra rep in you. Unless you're absolutely at like 1 rep in reserve or, you know, your RPE is at a 10, then you probably are training close to failure anyway, which is actually job done. But if you feel like you've got another rep in the tank, might as well take it there. Hate training at this time of the day. It's about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. I always like to train at a gym like this in the morning. And in general, like my flow is really important to me. I like to wake up in the morning, have a meal, and then go gym, get myself like ready for the day before I come home and then work with regards to helping other clients. If I've got auditions that day, you name it. But then my day is cleared for that. It's only special circumstances that I try and do something like this where I feel like I'm a little bit behind in schedule and then I have to get the gym in. But the reason why I don't like it is just it's a little bit too busy for me. I'm a bit of a lone wolf in that respect. Maybe in most ways. Oh. Oh. 2 more. Oh. 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 Hamstring's on fire. Hey Siri. Set time for 2 minutes, please. I said 2, but it gave me 3. So what I mean about that, if you're watching yesterday's and then you're watching today, you'll know what I mean about that. Ah, fuck. Ah. Oh. Oh. Ah. Whilst it's important to train to failure on a regular basis, remember, if you're not a professional athlete, if you're not a bodybuilder, then you don't need to do it all the time. And considering if you're just starting out with regards to your workouts, again, after a while off, there's no point trying to break yourself. So just take it easy, get your form right, get your technique together, see where your strength is somewhat at, and then over time, get back to the levels that you know you can do or surpass the levels that you feel like you can do over time, but don't do it straight away. That's the approach that I'm taking today. He says, wish me luck. One more. Yeah. Oh, good. Countering that, what I've just said, if you want to ever get bigger legs, then you need to go past the point where you have that initial first bit of pain. You know, I'm not talking about injury pain. I'm talking about that pain where you feel like you've pushed yourself to your limit. You need to get comfortable with going past that limit, especially when it comes to training your legs. It's such a big muscle group that it can take a lot of stimulus at once. So you really want to try and get to your failure points quite often when it comes to your legs, because it might take some time to recover, but when they do, they will come back stronger. And you really want to try and push past that pain threshold, that pain barrier where you feel like you've only got a couple more reps in the tank. Like I said, if it's there, you better take it. Otherwise, you're leaving gains on the table, you know? Okay. All right. That's it. Oh. Oh. Ah. One more. Ah. Remember when I said at the start of the workout that my legs, my hamstrings are not that strong? My quads, I'm definitely a quad dominant person. So I can be quite strong on these, but it doesn't stop the burn happening. Alright. Can I do this? No, I'm chickening out. I'm going to do one light weight lighter. Some more. Go. Oh. Oh, fuck. Shit. Woo. Two more. And then I gotta get it again. Oh. Oh. Ah. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. Oh, shit. I don't have it. I do not have it. The legs are failing me. Whew. Let's go. Ugh. Ah. Good. Yeah, that's tough. What we done? 50 lunges with weights. I'm not going to use any weights because my legs are quite tanked already. And it's 50 reps non-stop. Cool. They're harder than it looks, believe you me. Six. Also, a word on abs. Doing like body weight crunches and stuff like that, that's not going to cut it. If you want to actually build like a strong abdominal outer layer, then you're going to want to train with some resistance, just like any other muscle, so that you get that blocky kind of ab look. So if you don't have like a machine like this, which not every gym, like a commercial gym won't have something like this. So if you want to train with some sort of resistance, a cable rope crunch, with the rope like behind your back, that's something that's very useful. You can do some weighted crunches in general. Also, dare I say it, like you can actually do some like leg raises and stuff like that as well. That's going to be good. But my top recommendation would be a cable crunch or some sort of ab machine that you can actually add weight to. That's not going to put too much pressure on your lower back as well.
Are you connected? We are back. Well, more than back. I enjoyed that session. It was a good session. I am doing a personal interview of like how I felt with a microphone. I am on my own. It's a bit of self-entertainment at the end of the day. That's why I'm doing it. Yeah, today's session was good. It was good to get back into the flow of things from a leg training perspective. At the same time, I'm still just getting used to it, and I'm still conscious of things like with regards to my form, how I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis. There's always a bit of the initial, oh, I'm getting back into the swing of this. And there's a part of it that's like, it feels good, but then there's also a part of it that makes you go, oh, I feel a little bit shit, you know. And it's just the case of just being consistent to get through that little rough patch. This is where a lot of people quit in the first place, is that they start, they don't feel good for starting because they don't feel totally comfortable, and then they just give up, and then they have this dangerous cycle. You just kind of have to kind of just push through that little bit, you know? Most things are good when you just push through that little bit of pain. So I just want to make sure that, you know, I get through this little initial painful moment. But no, overall, the leg session was good. I'm really happy with how it was. My food could be a little bit tighter, but yeah, you know, I'll talk you through like the little tactics I'm using with regards to my nutrient intake and why I diet in a certain way. I mean, essentially, I diet for convenience and health. I try and make sure that I match the two as best as possible, but you know, sometimes you do have to sacrifice one over the other. And as it's building a better me, at the moment, I'm trading a little bit of optimizing things healthily for the convenience side of things, just so that I can get consistent. And then once I get consistent, then I add in the other habit of going, okay, how can I make this just a little bit healthier? How can I add in a fruit and veg here and there? How can I optimize drinking my water intake? You know, stuff like that. But the first part is just making sure that I get the calories in and get the protein together and make sure that I'm digesting the food well enough. That's about it, really. But yeah, you know, leg sessions are always weird, isn't it? A lot of people tend to skip leg sessions. It's not because they fear pain. I think it's because a lot of it is quite technical as well. Like if you look at a squat, it's quite a technical movement. If you look at leg press from an angle perspective, it can look quite dangerous to a lot of people. So, I mean, leg press is probably one of the safest movements in the world in terms of a gym. Like most gyms will have a leg press, and most gyms will enable you that you have safety bars, you have handlebars and all that kind of stuff, and you can actually do it. But maybe with social media there's a bit of scaremongering, like with regards to people snapping their legs and whatnot. But essentially, yeah, there's a little bit of a stigma with regards to training legs, knowing it's going to hurt, knowing it's not necessarily the most easiest thing technically to do. And I think essentially you just have to make sure that you are trusting in what it is that you're doing. Not saying for them to just go in and just like, max reps on a squat, but a squat is a basic movement that we've all been able to do since we were born. It's just essentially as we grow and develop, we kind of get away from those sort of movements. It's a bit like stretching, but realistically, if you just start with the bar alone and then you build up from there, it's fine. But some people respond better and train better with a leg press. Thankfully, I can do both. It doesn't really affect me, but I know lots of people who struggle with the squat. So for example, as some of my clients, I would opt for them to train with a leg press instead. And you can get the same amount of work and the same amount of quality work from it as well doing that. So it's not really a problem. Essentially, with leg training, it's just a case of intensity. It's more intense, it's a more taxing movement. You're going to feel a little bit more tired than usual compared to training upper body. I know I do for sure. Women tend to respond better to training lower body because that's where they store most of their strength, as opposed to men. Men store the majority of their strength in their upper body compared to women, and women tends to store their strength in their lower body. I don't know. That's just science. It's just the way it is. Maybe it's because they're born to carry babies. And men are born to be idiots. I don't know. But yeah, that's basically it really. Yeah, but I feel good. Essentially it's just not, it's still early days. I'm going to try and do this daily vlog thing. I feel like I'm starting to find a flow, but at the same time, it's kind of like, let's see how long this can last. I'm only on day 3 of filming 3 days in a row. And this is technically day 2 of a better me, right? But, I'm going to give it a damn good shot to try and make this a daily thing. And then maybe I'll be the natural black Sam Sulek, who's 10 years younger than me, but who cares? We got to start somewhere, right? Anyway, I'll leave it there. Peace and love, and I'll speak to you soon.